Friend, I'm not sure where you're at right now. And maybe in some ways you aren't quite sure either. And maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe like me, you have days where you feel disoriented and lost in the story of your life, and you're wildly trying to find your way. I'm so grateful to join you on the journey that, let's be brutally honest here, can often feel like walking out into a churning sea where waves swell high, and we've had it up to our necks because we keep floundering through deep water and unexpected, upending disappointments. And our story, in all kinds of painful ways, kind of keeps crashing and burning, and the waves keep breaking and crushing, and our hearts keep being busted and broken. And yes, you can say it out loud. The story of our lives, the expectations of our only life, hasn't been quite what we always dreamed of. So what now? What do we actually do to find our way through? I'd like nothing more than to slip it into your hands, this lifeline that's kept me from drowning more days than I can count. In the very eye of your storm, or at the bottom of your depths of your unspoken broken, can I give you a compass? A compass to find your way. It's a compass that looks like a daily, sacred habit to help you get your bearings whenever and wherever you feel lost. Originally, a habit meant a piece of clothing that we inhabit, that we pull on, that we live in. As nuns dress in habits to express their devotion to God, so habits, like our clothing, reveal our own kinds of devotion. Habits are uniforms that reveal identity. Change your habits, and you change who you are. A decade ago, I began counting gifts as a daily habit to open my eyes to the real and active presence of God. A decade later, I'm still counting. And now, when I pick up my pen, I also scratch down the acronym SACRED, SACRED, as a daily habit. A compass that reorients me in relation to God. Because life is waves. And what you need in order to get where you want to go is a way of life that can walk through waves. One that arises directly from Exodus 14, one of the most formational chapters of all of Scripture, as God parts the waves and shapes not only the identity of God's people, but also foreshadows our deliverance into a new way of being. And this way of life offers a daily habit spelled out in just 6 letters. S, stillness, to know God. A, attentiveness, to hear God. C, cruciformity, to surrender to God. R, revelation, to see God. E, examine, to return to God. And D, doxology, to thank God. In our sessions together, we'll dive into each letter and see how the Waymaker is not a far way off, so that you have to scream or holler for his attention, but he is here, right here. S is the first letter, the first step in a daily habit that, like a compass, will orient you when you are lost. Stillness, to know God. Be still and know God is what we read in Psalms 46:10. An almost impossible posture in our culture that likes things fast, and in our souls that direly want to find the way past whatever stands in our way. We would rather keep forcing our own way forward than stand still when worry or uncertainty, fear or doubt, shame or failure feel like they're kind of closing in on us. Practicing the discipline of stillness to know God invites us to ask the question, what is in my way? What am I doing about it? In Exodus 14, The Israelites had a literal sea in their way, a vast, impossible problem they couldn't get around. And they were frantic. The Israelites looked up, and there they were, the Egyptians, marching after them. They were terrified, and they cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us out to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt?" And Moses answers the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you'll never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Reads Exodus 14. Our battle is to keep still while God does the battle. Our battle is to still, and no matter what, to trust God still. Charles Spurgeon said, quote, "I dare say you will think it a very easy thing to stand still, but it is one of the postures which a Christian soldier learns not without years of teaching. Stillness is one of the most difficult to learn under the captain of our salvation." The Apostle Paul seems to hint at this difficulty when he says, "Stand fast, and having done all, still stand." End quote. Stillness may be the most difficult to learn, and to still stand. But to fully see a situation, to see the lay of the land, to see the way forward, requires stillness. Still hearts see God. When there's no agitation of soul, there can be a revelation of God. The only way to know what's in your way and what to do about it is to so intimately know God that you see yourself as God sees you. Stillness is knownness. If it's true that our deepest desire is to be seen and known, then we are only seen and known as much as we choose to be still. And we are only able to be still when we aren't being driven by our own expectations. Expectations of the way our lives should go, the way our lives should be, can slay any relationship, especially with God. Ask me how I know. My first real memory is my baby sister being crushed and killed in front of our home, in front of my mama's eyes, my parents holding her swaddled, lifeless body on the side porch as sirens flashed and life as we knew it imploded. On my honeymoon, I wept in the shower over a mess of busted expectations, and I confess I've been a slow learner, often struggling to stay still, struggling not to force my own way, struggling not to compare my way with someone else's. When nothing about our honeymoon getaway lived up to the storylines that the big silver screens has been spinning for decades, when my just 1 week new husband wanted to leave our honeymoon 3 days early to get back to the farm, when the picture in my mind looked nothing like the reality staring back at me from the bathroom mirror in our small motel room, all I wanted to do was run away, demand answers from God. And I did, as I have at many heartbreaking junctures in my life since. I've yelled at God across the lake as waves crashed across my ankles. As you maybe have often asked God, where are you? It's a question you might kind of be yelling internally even right now, or aching with, or whispering to. Question straight out of Eden, like an echo of God's first chronicled question to his beloved creatures, where are you? And perhaps in response, all of us through history have had what I call our own EPS, expectational positioning system, with expectations of where we think we should have been by now, expectations of how we would have been loved, or how long we'd all have been together, or of the way everything is expected to work out in the end. And an expectational positioning system has never failed to eventually position the soul in a bit of a hell of its own making, with its expectations of how the story should go. It's not the hard roads that slay us. What actually slays us is the expectation that this road isn't what we hoped it would be. Where are you is God's first recorded question in all of history. The very shortest question of the entire Hebrew Bible. And it hasn't stopped echoing across the topography of time. Only 3 words. Where are you? From Genesis 3, verse 9. The most life-changing questions often are the shortest. In Hebrew, it's actually only 1 word. Vayeka. That 1 word God is speaking into this moment, even right now. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you going with your life? Where is your soul on the way? Is this really where you want to be? And maybe your answer is no. I'm not where I expected to be, not where I imagined to be. None of this is really the way I thought it would be. The disappointments, the disillusionments, the dreams and desperate hopes, these are already known to an all-knowing God. He asks you where you are in your life because he wants you to name the place, see the place, acknowledge it, sit with it, even befriend it. I can hear you saying, befriend here? No. All I wanted to do is scream, I want a way out of this place. Ayeka means God understands everything going on inside and doesn't want our souls to hide. Not to hide from the feelings, not to hide from our hoping, not to hide from our dreaming or grieving. Like Adam and Eve, the temptation for all of us can be to flee, to cover who we are and how this feels. Because we'd rather wander lost than sit still with the fear of fully feeling, the fear of being transparent and known, only to sometimes experience kind of a flooding shame of rejection or abandonment. But what no one tells you is when you hide who you are, what you ultimately are hiding from is yourself. This is a haunting, exhausting kind of loss. And if evil can keep you distracted from taking the time to ask your soul where you really are, he can take you every day further from the life you envisioned. When we find the courage to be still and to be transparent, we find ourselves found. In the words of David, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts." But honestly, all I have wanted to do sometimes is ask God, where is he in all of this? Dietrich Bonhoeffer writes, quote, "God speaks to Adam and halts him in his flight. Come, out of your hiding place, out of your self-torment. Confess who you are. Do not lose yourself in religious despair. Be yourself. Adam, where are you? End quote. It's striking that God used the word ayeka when he could have used the more common, generic word for where in Hebrew, ifo, which simply means to locate. Ifo is the word what Saul uses when seeking David, when Naomi asks about Ruth's whereabouts, when Joseph is trying to track down his brothers. Ayeka, on the other hand, expresses a heart motivation beyond mere location. And ayeka conveys expectations. Where have you gone? Where are you if you are not here with me? When Adam and Eve turn away from intimacy with God, God cries because he's asking more than simply, where are you? He's asking, where are you in relation to me? God knows what it's like for there to be trouble in paradise, for paradise to go all wrong, for the perfect way to fall away, for there to be distance, for all the times nothing has turned out the way you've dreamed and you've howled at God. Where are you? He's howled his own very first question of all time with that one word, ayeka. Sounds like, where are you? When it was once all about you and me. And now it's all about you and that damn lying snake. Woe is me. Where have you gone? I just want you to be still, to be here with me. Friend, the triune God is not disappointed in you, isn't rebuking you, isn't rejecting you. But the triune God delights in you, smiles over you, seeks to be with you, revives you with his kiss of grace, and can't stop singing love songs because of you. S is the first letter, the first step in a daily habit that, like a compass, will reorient you when you're lost. Stillness, to know God. Right now is a chance to quiet your soul, to stop striving or hiding, to let yourself be found in relation to where God is. So look around. Pick up a pen and write it down. What is in your way today? What are you trying to push past or push down to run away from? What is the obstacle in your way today? Be still and let God find you.